Hey, my name's Andrew.
And I'm Derek.
This is Time and Tide, and we have a 3-watch collection that is so consistent that I challenge you to find a flaw in the armor of what Derek, aka Minutemon, has done right here. See you in the comments, but watch the video first. If you're into watches and you live in New York, you probably know that Watches of Switzerland Soho is just down there. But guess what? Time and Tide is just up here. This is a concept that was born in Melbourne. It was proven in London. Now it's flagship time, baby. Our biggest ever discovery studio that puts internet famous watches on your wrist for the first time is landing here, 460 Broome Street, Soho. But to get in on the ground floor of this new experience of watch retail, you gotta go to the second floor. Time and Tide, New York. I'll see you up there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Time and Tide. Today I introduce you to a face that is likely known to you as @Minutemon. Exactly. Derek, welcome.
Hey, Andrew. Thanks so much for having me on the channel.
It's a pleasure. It's a long time coming.
Yeah, I think we've bumped into each other a ton of times at different events, and I've always followed Time and Tide and read your articles, watched your videos, and yeah, about time we finally got down to do something.
About effing time. Well, this is the setting for it. We're in New York. Time and Tide has a discovery studio in New York. I'm trying to understand this place better through the people. We already knew each other, but like the ways that watch people get to know each other is also through their watches. So look at this double wrist scenario. Just, yeah, this is, I mean.
It's the safest way to transport watches when you're walking around the city. And I took the subway here.
You really do double wrist?
No, I don't normally, but because you told me to bring 3 watches, I was like, I gotta take the subway. So the safest place is literally on me, than to put it in a bag.
Now, before we get into your 3-watch collection, I do have some questions for you because, you know, Australian in New York, about to open a business. What don't I know? What should I know about New York and watch culture? Like, what have I got myself into?
Well, I think New York watch culture is very developed. It's similar to cities like Tokyo and other areas that, like Singapore as well, that are very deep into the culture. You have all kinds of different collectors, from people who are just getting their first watch to people who are really deep into it, doing vintage and going to auctions and all that stuff. So I think that you need to have a strategy that cater to all the kinds of people that you're going to encounter. And I don't think it's going to be that different than what you're doing in Melbourne or even in the London Discovery Studio. I think that it's going to be a extension of what you already do there. And you know, New Yorkers are very upfront and honest, and you know, if they don't like something about a watch, they'll tell you upfront, even if you're the one that stocks it and sells it to them. And you just gotta smile when they say they hate exactly the watch you sell, and you know, you find something else.
This is words from the wise. Derek, tell people about yourself and like the videos that people may know you for, because I mean, you've had so many viral, I would say viral grade videos, but talk us through some of the big hits, and also why you feel experienced to talk to me about retail, because there's an answer to that.
So my channel is called Minutemon. So that's on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I make a lot of content about watches, but the whole reason why I'm in watches in the first place is because my family, which is my mom and dad, started this authorized retailer business called Carrot & Co. And so without them, obviously I wouldn't be here, but I also wouldn't be in the watch industry. I didn't produce my first video until like 3 or 4 years into actually working full-time at my parents' store, and it was a slow day. Grand Seiko had just came out with some new seasons collection, and we accidentally got it 1 week early before the embargo, and I was like, I might as well film a video, get it edited, pumped it out on my YouTube channel, and that first video on my channel did like 60,000 views on a channel with 0 subscribers. And that got me hooked. I was like, people actually want to hear.
I'm gonna get this every time.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get that every time. It turns out, you know, that's not always true. A lot of short form videos, I love doing like educational stuff. Like one of my favorite ones I did was about the Cartier Santos Rewind, which was talking about like,
goes backwards.
Why are watches even clockwise to begin with? Like, have you ever thought about it? We look at watches all the time, and it turns out it's, you know, short answer is because the first people to discovered timekeeping, we're in the Northern Hemisphere, and anything in the Northern Hemisphere is going clockwise. You're originally from Australia. That's Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So if you guys discovered time first, all the watches would be counterclockwise, and we would call that clockwise. So I love little like fun facts like that. You don't understand that?
I just went cross-eyed.
Yeah.
I just remember the episode of The Simpsons where I learned that the water goes the other way in the Northern Hemisphere. I didn't even know that. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so I love finding little details like that and then sharing that with like the people who follow me. And then, you know, at the end of the day, my goal is not just to like try to sell you watches from my store. It's more like I just want to share my own passion and why I love watches. And then one day, if you want to buy a watch that you're looking for, like, you know, we hope that we are top of mind for a lot of people.
Knowing our audience and knowing this world as we do, they want to hear about watches you've invested in, watches that are new to you. What have you got today?
Okay, so...
And what does this watch collection represent? Because this looks a pretty balanced collection in a lot of ways.
I would say this is probably one of my best 3 watch collections I put together. You know, like when you have a collection, you have more than 3 pieces, but I like to call this like my 3 watch rotation. Like if I only had these 3 watches for the entire year, this could last me. I would never need another watch. So I built like these little 3 watch rotations. The first one I'll start with is the Seiko that's here on the table.
SJE093?
No, this is SJE093,
but
it's close.
All the wrong letters, all the wrong numerals, but they look similar.
It's similar. The reason why is because this is a recreation of the 62 MAS.
62 MAS, yep.
Yeah, so the long story short of this is that before this model came out, which is a 38 millimeter, I basically had owned every modern version before that. I had the SPB 143, the one with the 3 o'clock lume, the one without the 3 o'clock lume, like 2 different versions. I had different SLA models. And I just kept thinking, like, I wish they would just recreate the original Seiko diver. And then they did in 2023.
Yeah. It was expensive for a Seiko, wasn't it?
It is, but at the same time,
How
you know,
much?
this watch is, okay, retail was $3,500.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine buy one a few months ago, and he spent $5,000. Like, they're all over retail now, because these are like so original Seiko design, but like latest movement, and a lot of them trade over retail. And people don't really think about that. They think Seiko, okay, that's too much money to spend on a Seiko. Why isn't it a Grand Seiko? Like, I don't want to sound like a Seiko crazy person, but like parts of this movement, the 6L is similar to the 8L, which was assembled in Grand Seiko's studio. This is like, when you think of Grand Seiko, they haven't really they're not known for dive watches. They're known for spring drive and all this other stuff. So I feel like Seiko still has such a rich heritage when it comes to their exploration watches. I mean, this to me is what a original 50 Fathoms is from Blancpain, a early sub, what's it called? Like that kind of watch. And you can tell it is heavily inspired by those watches too, but it's what, you know, the Japanese made then. It has a lot of heritage within Seiko, but I've always known I wanted to collect it. And so when this came as a modern reproduction in 2023, I sold all my other Seikos and then I bought this one. And I never looked back. I get people asking me about it all the time. And it's
the reason
been on
I'm just
so
kind of
many trips.
marveling at it, it's just the SPB 143, I own that watch. It is a big watch though. It is. It wears very big. Even on a NATO, it's a bulky proposition.
So try this on.
I'm going
This
to.
is a 38 millimeter.
It's
It
38
wears
millimeter.
nothing
It's
like
much
that
slimmer.
143.
But the thing that it brings from the SPB 143 is this combination of this super milky anthracite. Like, it's gray, but it has this cloudy depth. Like Sunray doesn't not sum it up. And then it has kind of a minty or a green, like a light green sort of lume. The indices are quite chunky on this, but because of the box crystal, they're constantly getting warped and distorted. And then on the gray, on this like storm gray or cloud gray tropical strap, it's something else. I want one. I really want one. Because the 143, I don't even take it with me because it wears too big. To just play along. But in summer when you got a t-shirt or something, it's fine, but I just find it's a bit of a cuff wrangler, but this is something else.
But like, it's been with me on so many trips, and what I love about it is that it's really like, if you know, like, I always think in worst case scenario, someone's like, give me your watch. I'm like, yo, it's just a Seiko. Like, don't take my Seiko. They have no idea how much it means to me, but I'm like, it's just a Seiko. It's really not that, you know.
And unfortunately, I didn't pass the OYK test because I'm just looking at it through my blind eyes thinking that's an SPB 143, but of course it's not. And that's a superb start. I give that a 5 out of 5.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean,
well, I'm not going to rate everything, but that is definitely a watch that is a true connoisseur's choice.
Yeah.
And again, Seiko's ergonomics are not their strong suit, but this is like 12-ish.
12 millimeters.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's super great on the wrist.
You'll Travel see watch, everything watch.
Yeah.
Holiday watch.
So think of this as like the adventure watch. This is like what I'll take on the weekends, all that kind of stuff. The next watch I'll show you is my Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Duoface, medium size. And this one has 2 different dials, a white and a black dial side. I put it on this Milanese mesh bracelet. You'll see that I like to not use a stock strap for a lot of stuff.
Let me talk about another one of Derek's viral videos, which is after the Milanese came out on rose gold. Is this correct?
Yep.
You then, with the first one, his brain just went click, click, click. Oh, everyone likes Reversos on Milanese. I've got an answer for that. Yeah. You tell the rest of the story, but then you just hijack the algorithm for a few days.
So I also bought this in 2023. The reason I picked this up is my YouTube channel was about to hit 100,000 subscribers at that time.
Flex.
And I wanted to have a little reason. I've always wanted a JLC or like a Cartier tank in gold. And so I was between this and a Tank Louis, but it was quartz. And I was like, okay, I feel like I get so much more value out of a steel Reverso because I get 2 dials, I get a dual time function, I get a manual winding movement. This has loom on it too, which is like kind of unusual for a dress
watch. Yeah.
And so this just spoke to me more, and I've never looked back. I've actually had this Milanese mesh bracelet since I bought the watch, but I didn't put it on until last year with the gold Reverso. And
I think we might have broken that or got really close.
Yeah.
In terms of like I was with Jerome on the day before. This isn't just a flex like return of serve, but we were right in the heat of that launch, and I was shocked. I mean, we did put it on and just go, that solves all of my issues with the Reverso. Just because they're an unusual wear. You kind of need to know this. They're fairly brickish in terms of their side profile, and they don't necessarily play great with when you put it on with a new leather strap, it's like, I can't wear this thing. It's sitting so high. But then the Milanese was just drapey and it locked in and it's like, ooh. So this is, and the Duoface, the dial colors really unlocks 2 whole wardrobe possibilities for this.
The stock strap that this came on was like a brown leather strap, which I absolutely hate. Like I've gone on the record to say I hate it so much.
They're not good. They're too stiff.
They're stiff, and I just feel like it felt like an afterthought of matching the watch. Like even just putting this on a black strap would have looked so much better. But yeah, once I put this on the mesh bracelet, then this watch basically became my everyday wear. This has been with me on a ton of trips. I've worn it to friends' weddings, to Watches and Wonders, like when you actually need the dual time function. So this is a watch that's also coming 2 years into my collection now. And the first 2 watches I'm showing you, these are watches that we sold in my store, Carrot & Co. The Seiko is discontinued because it's a limited run. Unfortunately, this medium size is also discontinued. So if anyone's looking for this,
I love how uncommercial you're being. This is good.
You would have to go to the secondary to find this, but let's all pray that Watches and Wonders 2026, that a medium Reverso with a complication will come.
That felt like a little seeded comment.
Well,
maybe you know something.
I want it to happen, so I'm
trying
just
to manifest it.
Yeah, I'm just manifesting. Like I really want the chronograph to be in this size, and that would be amazing. And
do you wear dark dial or light dial more?
The dark dial, actually.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
With the Bond villain outfit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I told you I like gray, so everything's kind of, I don't know what's my fascination with gray.
Sport, adventure, dress. What is this shiny thing?
So there's no other way around. This is just Grail watch. This is also I picked up in 2023. So all 3 of these watches were watches I picked up in 2023. This was the first AP I've ever owned. I was lucky enough to get it at retail. It was my first allocation of any Audemars Piguet watch, so I was even luckier that this was my first allocation. I think I was a little lucky because some of the salespeople saw my videos and they kind of knew who I was when I walked in. So
Derek's famous.
So it was helpful, I would say. I know Andrew was having fun wearing this off camera beforehand. And,
I'll tell you why. Look, honestly, no one talks enough about how big AP Royal Oaks wear. Yeah. And there's just simply, you just cannot assume that because you're a 6'1" dude with a 7-inch wrist that a 41 millimeter Royal Oak is going to work for you. Because I was blown away when I bought the 50th anniversary Blue Dial, how big it wears and how much. This is just facts here. Royal Oaks, you pay for all of that brilliance and reflectiveness and shine in the sharpness of the ergonomics. Like you feel why it's such a spectacularly reflective piece. And when it's a big wear combined with that really comes together as something. Whereas I put this on and went, see, if someone had told me that a 38 millimeter chronograph would actually be absolutely perfect, it takes all of those issues away simply because I think the lug to lug on this Zach would have to be 50 or close to it.
No,
what do you think?
I think with the fixed end links, it's like 49 or 48.
Okay, but we're
That's
really
why it
close.
fits so good.
You're really close to 50 with a 38 millimeter chronograph. So, okay. Zach's saying effective lug to lug.
Effective lug to lug.
I don't even know what that means.
Effective end link to end link.
But yeah, this is just ghosty. It's spectral.
I mean, this fits you perftly too.
Absolutely perfect.
If I were to recommend a size, this would be it for you too.
I know. God damn it! It's almost like he's a retailer. Yeah, that's a very strong and well considered collection. Are they all lifers for you? You can't see a world where, and you've actually got quite, if I can say, Captain Boring tastes in terms of color palette, because we move from a lovely black and silver to a lovely gray and black to a lovely gray and gray. Yeah. So it's almost like a dinner of chips with chips on the side and some chips for dessert, but it's classy and it's got that monochrome kind of consistency.
That's the key word right there. I would call this my 3-watch rotation monochrome edition. Like this is when I just want that one color scheme. And that's why it feels right to bring them all 3 together, because when you look at all 3 of them, I get a little bit of everything. I get a dive watch here. This is all the water resistance, all the lume. This is my dressy watch, kind of my everyday watch, travel time as well. And then I get a chronograph as well. These are technically, 2 different complications, chronograph and dual time. Plus I get the dive watch features in here. So I feel like I've covered my bases. That's why I love showing all 3 of these together in one.
That's classy. Marcus, I mean, that's got to be a high 8, 9, maybe even a 10. Ooh. I mean, in terms of the sheer balance, price points, I'm impressed. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that I'm impressed. What's the craziest thing you've ever done for a watch?
Yeah, I took a loan for a watch. I paid it off, but I feel like that's not that crazy compared to maybe what other people did. But for me, it's kind of crazy because I had to take like a $20K loan. And it actually had to do with AP actually. So earlier this year, I got allocated the Blue Dial 15550, so 37 millimeter. I didn't bring that today, but when I got the call, when you get a call for like a watch it's a grail watch for you, you're gonna make it work. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say no, because what if I say no and then I don't get allocated again? So I had to sell some stuff.
At this moment, Derek is all of us.
Yeah,
you are all of us.
I had to sell some of my, I had like some treasury bonds from the government. I was like, all right, I'm getting rid of those because it's time to let go of those. And then the rest, I took 10K in debt of like credit card debt. I paid it off within the year, but like it just gave me a leeway to
I'm not your
breathe.
accountant, man. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Cool.
But it just gave me time, like breathing space where I wouldn't feel too guilty about it, like doing it all in one shot. Yeah. So that would be the craziest, most recent story of this past year.
So the other thing that people say is when I say, oh, tell me, what keeps you in watches? Everyone says that, it started out being just about watches and then it became this. What is your answer about why this hobby still has its hooks in you?
I'm glad you asked me that because I was thinking about this the other day. Off camera, we were talking and I said I actually sold a lot of watches out of my collection this year. And I realized that when I'm not really around watch people as much, I still think about watches, but I don't have that urge I need it as bad. So what I would say is what keeps me coming back is really the people, meeting people like you, like Zach, your team and everyone. all the collectors I know in New York City, like it's really an insulated hobby that it kind of feeds off each other. And it only works because, you got to spend money and you got to buy and you make mistakes, you learn all this stuff and you have stories.
What trips me out about it is there's this familiarity. When you see someone you've been looking at their face for years and you're one of those people, I'm just like, I'm in Instagram right now. I'm like Zoolander. I'm inside the computer. Yeah. And when I met Perry and Michonne, I'm like, I'm inside YouTube. Yeah. This is, what the fuck? Yeah. So there is that false but also real familiarity. And also I think, it is true. And what about the camaraderie with you and those other two larrikins?
Oh, you're talking about Ben and Craig?
Yeah, these guys.
We have our own podcast called Wrist Enthusiast Radio. To be honest, like when we first started, one of the guys was like, yo, we gotta be like, it's effing time. We gotta be like this. We gotta be like that. So we were inspired by
My lawyers
people.
will be in touch.
I've grown like a really great friendship with those two. Like we're all really close now.
They're good dudes.
Going to each other's birthday parties and everything and like actually hanging out outside of watches.
Yeah.
So it's been good. Yeah.
So it's not just about the watches in the end.
Like Ben and I went to get hot pot the other night. I took Ben to get Chinese hot pot for his first time, and I was like teaching him how to make food, like his food and everything in the Chinese broth, and he was having a lot of fun. And I don't think we really talked about watches that night. We were talking about like pickleball and hot pot, and it's just a friendship starts from watches, but it evolves to something else.
Derek, I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
Slightly self-serving. What do you think a Time+Tide Discovery Studio will add to New York?
Well, I think that a lot of the brands that you guys are going to be presenting are brands that haven't had their own retail space, haven't been able to have somewhere that people can come in throughout the entire year and see the watches there. So I think you're creating this environment where people can come in and see a lot of the watches they only get to see online normally, and now get to do it with you guys who have built this community of watch lovers, enthusiasts, collectors. I know everyone that works with you has the watch bug. They all buy watches, which, we talked about a little bit before too. Like, I think it's really important that if you're in the industry, I definitely think you have to pay to play. Like, you definitely need to buy watches, especially if you're someone who's gonna try to tell me why I should buy this or that. Like, you should collect watches too, because it just gives you more credibility. It makes you more trustworthy. And like, if you're not willing to put your own money where your mouth is, why would I like listen to you, And so that's why I think of my own experience. Like, I have a watch we don't even sell, but then actually all three of these watches we don't sell anymore, but these are just watches that represent me. And I'm excited what you guys are gonna bring with the Time+Tide Discovery Studio. You guys are welcome in New York. What do you have any reservations or any concerns about like coming in? Like, what are things that keep you up at night when it comes in?
That's a good question. How long do we have? Now, what keeps me up at night is just, can we do it again? Because I think London was just this kind of dream where we landed and the goodwill that I guess we built up, like, because About Effing Time felt like a very British show. So it kind of felt like we had roots already in London. But I truly, I am a bit of a positron. I'm someone that goes in just thinking everything's always going to be amazing. And it's super annoying for everyone who works with me some of the time, because I'm like, it'll be amazing. And they're like, it's not going to be amazing. It's going to be, there's people giving me reality checks, but London just was amazing. It was a dream that I never woke up from. And there's just a part of me that goes, Melbourne went well, London went well. But then I think, honestly, my fears, I will sleep better tonight after meeting you today, after meeting Perry and Michonne from WristJack, Adam and Kathleen, after connecting with Erica, who's here right now, and Georgia Benjamin, who was here earlier. This is making me feel better, because it's actually just that sense of, it's not always a friendly community, if I can be so bold. It's not always a welcoming community, the watch community, whereas I have tried to be this sort of hall, like church hall, scout hall, clubhouse, where all of that gets put aside. You get to walk in and you'll just be met by a geek who's just on your level and deconstructs a lot of that. And I guess there's a part of me that thinks New York's such a cool place. Is this going to be, are there going to be some cool overlords that are just like, no, that's not going to fly here? But after meeting everyone, does that make any sense?
No, I totally get it. I think that if you were to boil it down, just focus on your collectors or your clients. Like, just focus on catering to them, and I think you'll always win. Like, if you always keep them in mind, like what they would think and what they would want in your store and what you guys are bringing that's different, then yeah, you can't lose with that strategy.
I mean, to a fault, and I'm going to remember that and basically write that down, but to a fault, like, we just meet people with kindness and curiosity. And, you know, we hope that, pardon the cheesiness, but often watches go from a collection to a connection. Like, that's the thing that happens. There's this process where you start out thinking it's about the watches, then it becomes about the people, the broader community. I hope that we can help people with that process. And we're just going to keep turning up, doing what we did in London and Melbourne. And I've got so much skin in this fucking game, as in we pre-talked before this and it was like, oh shit, we should start recording. And the conversation never ends. So, and neither does it with you. What do you think of Derek's 3-watch collection? I'm going to take you on in the comments if you have anything that you're taking issue with here, because this is highly considered and all of the times are right, which is the first time I've ever seen. You're a meticulous individual, Derek.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for watching Time and Tide. Thank you, Derek, for coming in. And yeah, what would your 3-watch collection be that covers off all of the realms of wearability like Derek has done here? I can't wait to read below. Derek, thank you, man.
Hey, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's go New York.